Shalom, and thank you for watching this video from HaDerekh Synagogue. I hope you are liking the content we are bringing you. If you could like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, that will greatly help us. And to further help bring great content to you from our teachers, if you could please consider to donate to HaDerekh Synagogue. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for watching.
Thinking about it practically, the Red Heifer. Christine Hayes notes that the Greek had divine law, which was natural law, that didn't need to be legislated because it made sense. And they had conventional law that had to be commanded because it was not necessarily intuitive. Chazal do not believe this. Chazal have a divine conventional law. Laws we don't understand, statutes we couldn't come up with on our own, but yet still divine. The Greeks say the best law is the one that can be understood, that you can figure out yourself. Otherwise, it isn't natural. And if it isn't natural, then it isn't divine. Chazal say that you can have things that you don't understand, but you still need to be commanded because it doesn't make sense, but yet it's still divine. Chazal walk away from this natural, humanocentric perspective and maintained its verb-based perspective on God and his relationship with man. See, we push and we force ourselves to understand everything because there is a value and an importance to understanding. Be it in our Torah study, our study of the Mishnah Yomis, the Daf Yomi cycle, the Midrashim. There is a human value, there is a religious value to knowing that there are things you will never know. You will never understand everything. This is true theologically and practically. While we work and struggle to understand, it is so important to keep humility and to know that we will never know and understand everything. Friedrich Hayek wrote a piece called The Fatal Conceit. He was a major 20th century thinker, and he comes from Austria. He said that the great failures of the 20th century, socialism, communism, and other forms of social engineering come about because of a fatal conceit. We plan human destiny in advance by the application of science, rationality, and it ends up in totalitarianism. All social engineering carries with it unintended consequences. Things go wrong. A program designed to reduce poverty, a generation later is discovered to have just increased poverty. A revolution undertaken to increase freedom becomes tyranny. Socialistic economic planning, regulation, and intervention paved the way to totalitarianism by building a power structure that will inevitably be seized by the most power-hungry and unscrupulous. The idea of social justice is that the state should treat people unequally in order to make them equal, which is another form of tyranny. The worst thing we can do is to claim we know everything because we will try to control society and people. Instead, we need to build a society that is based upon humility. If we believe we can know everything, it leads to the belief that we should know everything, and eventually this leads to us believing we do know everything. And anyone who questions must be controlled or silenced. The cure for this is to understand that we cannot know everything and to return to humility. Too much damage can be caused by the best intentions of people ignorant of their ignorance. So herein lies the chok, the commands like the paraduma that seem irrational to the rational mind or appear illogical to the logical. I don't know about you, but we tend to make lists and we try to put everything into these lists, build boxes, and we'll put this in that box and this in that box. A theologian named Lagarde Smith, a commentator from a few aisles left of us, separated the law of Moses into 9 categories. Those 9 categories are religious and ceremonial, government, special crimes, personal rights and remedies, marriage, divorce, and sexual relations, health and dietary, general welfare, roles of warfare, and responsibilities under the law. I said that kind of fast, but there are 9 of them. Now, in Pirkei Avos 1:1, the members of the Anshe Knesset tell us we are to be deliberate or persistent and thoughtful in judgment, establish many disciples, a reference more to the quality of Torah students, not necessarily the quantity of Torah students, and to construct boundaries around the Torah. Now, boundaries around the Torah. I know that that doesn't sit well with a lot of people, but let me explain that boundaries around the Torah. It is not additional rules to keep us far from Torah, but interpretations that allow us to embrace Torah and to help make it personal. The hermeneutical principles we learn from the likes of Hillel, who created 7 principles, or Rav Ishmael, who created 13, or Rav Eliezer, who provides 32. These give us the tools to do those 3 things. In other words, these tools allow us to rightly divide the word of truth. From Timothy. The rabbis disseminated the 13 commandments from Torah, not into 9 categories, but into 2. Do you know what those 2 are? Negative and positive. There are 365 negative commandments. Those are the you shall nots. Very simple. And the 248 positive commandments, those are the you shall. Makos 23b says that the 365 negative commandments correspond to the number of solar days, and the 248 negative commandments to the number of body parts in the human mortal frame. I don't know how they figured that out, but Targum Yonasan 127, on the other hand, corresponds the negative commandments to the number of veins and nerves. Another reckoning of the commands is to split them into 3 categories: Mishpatim, Aydat, and Hukim. Mishpatim are the logical commands that make sense to the human mind. Eidos are commands designed to keep events in mind. Passover is one of those. And they're also known as testimonies. Hukim are the commands that either never made sense to the rational mind, or they no longer make any sense in our post-biblical perspective. In all my readings, I have never seen anyone quantify all of Torah in those 3 categories. And frankly, I don't blame them, because I wouldn't want to put one as a hukim that somebody else can interpret.